Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome, friends and family from around the world to the Energetic Life Now show. I am your host, Coach Eric, and it is an absolute honor to have you guys joining us here today. Whether you are here and this is your first time coming live with us, or you're catching replay or on my YouTube channel, I just want to say welcome, a warm welcome to you and your family, and blessings, safety, and peace to you wherever you are around the world. Today's show is being broadcast on the Spanglish World and Zingo TV, channel 250. And if you don't have the Zingo TV app yet, please go ahead and download it. It is free for your Apple and Android devices. And also, the Zingo TV is available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, Fire TV sticks, Roku sticks, and on all smart TVs 2016 and forward. So you guys know how I roll here on the Energetic Life Now show. I bring the best of the best, and nothing else will do and suffice. And so tonight, my friends, I am so excited to bring to you guys an amazing author that I just happened to get connected to a couple weeks ago. And I was like, absolutely, we have got to get you on the show. The world needs to hear your voice and to hear your story. So I want to give a big, big, warm, energetic life now. Welcome to Tyree Whitworth. Tyree, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So Tyree, like I just spoiler alert, I just let it all out. Yes, you are an author, and I'd love for you to give a little bit of your backstory about you as an author, and then also where people can find you on social media.
I can actually be found Tyree Whitworth on Facebook. Instagram is going to be officially Tyree. That's Tyree. And if anybody is interested in purchasing the very first novel of Tyree Whitworth, you can find me at www.tyrewrites.com. A little bit about my novel and me being an author. It's a release for me. It actually started out as a fun project while I was in school. And it grew into a novel 16 months later, published, available on Amazon as well, that I can be proud of.
That's awesome. So the title of your book, your first novel, is Entangled Desires. Give us a little sneak peek into what the book is all about.
Entangled Desires is a modern day romance drama, heavy on the drama. And that is because in today's society, what we've become after so many years of actually knowing what relationships are and loyalty, it's turned to where not just women, but men as well, they jump from relationship to relationship when things get hard. But they don't realize that it's not always greener on the other side.
Hmm.
That excitement from the new relationship or the extravagant material things or the travels, anybody can do that. But being able to do it with the one that you love and you plan on spending the rest of your life with is really what matters. And this just depicts the exact opposite of that. 50 and 60 years ago, I've been in the hospitality industry for 20 years. So when I go to work, I come across people who have been married for 50, 60, 70 years since they've known each other since high school.
Wow.
They've known each other since elementary school. But we don't get that anymore, unfortunately. It's okay, I met this person a couple years ago and things got hard. I want to leave, or I found someone else that's a little bit more exciting. And that person may not even be well rounded or stable. It's just the fun.
Yeah.
When they're not really understanding that a relationship is not something that just flies by. It's not something that's always going to be easy. Relationship is just like life. Sometimes it gets hard, sometimes it gets easy. Don't get me wrong, we all want it to be easy more than it is hard, but there are hard times in everything that you do. So what are you going to do? If you treat life the same way you treat a relationship, that means you're running from everything.
Hmm. Wow, that's a really profound statement. If you treat life like you treat relationships, you'll be running. Man, that is so good. Yeah, that's incredible.
And
Thanks. Go ahead.
the thing about it is, I'm not just talking about it. I used to live it.
Mm,
So I used to run from everything because of the way that I was raised. But it took that right one and being able to speak to somebody about the things that I've gone through to get through it, get over it. And it's not the destination, it's the journey. Because
mm.
the more you follow that journey and you stay on that path on that journey, you find out more about yourself. I would have never thought I'd be a published author last year, the year before, 10 years ago. But here I am today, published my first novel, and three more to come, a poetry book and a children's series.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I had to write that down. It's not the destination, it's the journey. That is such an amazing statement. And I agree with you. I think we forget about that. When things get hard, we want to pack it in and go try something else, and you know go to the next greener pasture, the shiny object, that we don't build that grit and resilience to stay planted where we are and nurture where we are, to understand that's where our life is good if we would take care of that.
Agreed.
And it's, yeah, I love that. That's really great. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the rest of your books. You just mentioned a couple of things coming out. What's next on the horizon for you?
What's next is first and foremost my children's book. It's actually a series called Mr. Squiggly Wiggly. Um, I have an 11-month-old son who, from the first day he came home, he's never been able to sit still. So I started calling him Mr. Squiggly Wiggly because a lot of children that come home and are born, they lay there, they rest, they just want to sleep. Not him. From the first day, the neck control, the nurses and doctors were like, wow. And he just amazes me. He never crawled. He did a bear crawl when he's on his hands and feet, and then took his first steps at 7.5 months. And this is not just for him, but it's for every first time parent. I am not a first time parent, but my wife is. And she, even today, deals with certain struggles. And as a as a child, you'll see how resilient they are when they really want something, or how minuscule things are. Like, for example, one of the books in this one is going to be called The Adventures of Mr. Squiggly Wiggly and the Missing Binky. And everything in that book is based on true events. My wife was frantic about losing his binky, and I said, "Babe, it's all right. Binkies go missing all the time. It's not that serious. Relax. We'll find it." And the whole time he had it. He was sitting on it. So that's the I just want to be able to help. There's a
Yeah.
lot of first time parents out here, as well as the fact that me being mixed, and she is Italian and Irish. So when you see children's books, it's either both parents are white or both parents are black.
Mhm.
And in the way we live today, there are more interracial relationships than there's ever been. So I want to be able to open that door.
Mhm.
We don't need to be afraid of who we love, even though some people in our ethnic background, our nationality would feel some type of way, but we can't control who we fall in love with. We can't control who we want to spend the rest of our life with. And we can't control who understands us better than we understand ourselves. So I wanted to open the conversation with that.
Mm. Yeah, that's Tyree. That's so great, and I'm cracking up when you're telling that story because my word, we had 3 kids, and how many times did we lose binkies? Right? I swear we were going to Target every week. Like it's like losing socks in the dryer. Their binkies are there, and then they're gone, and we don't know where they are. And I love that. I love that under your son, the binky sitting on the binky.
Sitting
That's
on it the whole
great.
time, it was funny. And she was frustrated. We went through the couch, we went through the laundry, we went through everything, the baby bag, and to find out he's literally sitting on it, and we couldn't do anything but sit there and laugh.
Yeah,
But that's just to show that some things are just not that serious.
yeah. Yeah, I love it,
But it
and
turns
it's
into a
it's
funny
so
story.
it's so simple because every parent has experienced this in one way or another. They've lost something, whether it's the binky or it could be 100 different things. Always looking for something and searching the car, searching the car seats, searching the strollers, everything until you realized it was right in front of your nose and you didn't even see it. And
Exactly. You got to slow down, take
yeah,
a breath, and just sit in the moment for a second, and then things tend to just show up
yeah,
when you least expect it.
mm, I love it. I love it.
And
Yeah. And I love and thank you, Tyree, for creating a book not only of which new parents are going to love to read with their kids and have a good time in doing that, but also bringing together the fact that, like you said, there are more interracial marriages happening now and relationships happening now than ever, and to not be afraid to reach out and love and not be afraid to cross this imaginary line that has been made up by who knows from
right.
who knows where, right? These stigmas and breaking down these stigmas. It's 2024. Like, this is ridiculous that people are still in this position where, well, I don't know if I can because they don't look the same as me. Listen, you're finding love. Go after that love. There's nothing holding you back from obtaining that. And I love that you're crossing that thought and idea in the book as well. So thank you so much for doing that.
Not a problem. My goal, and I actually had a conversation with my publicist today and said, I want to be able to be that person to open up doors to those hard topics, those
Yeah.
topics that people don't want to have, whether it be relationships, whether it be parenting, whether it just being Black in America,
Mhm.
you know. And yes, I'm Black, but I'm also other things. 3 years ago I did my ancestry, and to find out, guess what? I'm white too, Northern European. So it doesn't matter what my skin tone is;
Yeah.
it matters the person that I am, and that goes for everybody. Because just because we look a certain way, if I was green, would you have an issue with it? Probably, because it's not something that you're used to.
Mhm.
But Black men and Black women, Hispanic men, Hispanic women, white men, white women, we've been around all of these stigmas for so many years. Why continue to allow those stigmas to control the society we live in?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you 1,000,000%, Tyree. And that's it's so disheartening to see these things that still are happening in our world today, and all because of past experiences, past um, belief systems that were created for whatever, dominance, superiority, whatever that case might be, because of differences, rather than coming to this place of celebration of everyone for who and what they are, whether it's race, religion, nationality, doesn't matter. When we come together as a global community to celebrate each other, to be there to love and support each other, this planet can absolutely explode in love and universal brotherhood and kindness and support. And we can break down these barriers that have been plaguing us for centuries.
Agreed. I grew up a statistic, unfortunately. Um, and it took me maybe 5 years to actually be able to be open about the way I grew up. You know, in the community that I live in, it is the fact that there are no black fathers in the homes, unfortunately, but true. Um, drugs, violence, and these are the things that I grew up around. No mother, no father. My mother gave me up when I was young. Father, don't really know the situation there. I've heard different stories, but by the age of 2, I was living with a family that wasn't even mine. So I've always felt like an outcast. You know, when your mother doesn't want you, your father's not around, your mother's family treats you like the ugly duckling of the family, as well as your older brother, and then you're living with a family that's not yours. They don't look like you, they don't talk like you, they don't sound like you. You tend to feel like an outcast going to a school that was predominantly black and Hispanic. And yes, I am Hispanic. I don't speak it fluently, but if you don't, unfortunately, they don't consider you one of theirs. And because of my skin tone, I wasn't considered black. So I've always felt like I was an outcast. And it started with my own family.
Mhm.
Even though the family that did take me in, great family, I cannot say anything bad about them. But it wasn't mine.
Yeah.
So growing up without something that it was mine, everything that I spoke about, I used to be that person. I used to be that person that ran when things got hard, because guess what? I felt like I wasn't wanted there, or you told me you didn't want me there. Then if I'm not wanted, then bye.
Yeah.
But and I've done it in my relationship now, to where I felt like I wasn't wanted and I was ready to leave. But
Mhm.
I realized that I had to sit here, I had to stick it out, and I found somebody to speak to. Most of the time, people don't want to speak, especially as black men. We live with this stereotype that being open about how we're feeling, our emotions, it makes us weak. But it's actually the opposite. I've been in therapy for over a year now, just because I needed somebody to talk to. Not saying that I don't speak to my wife, or not saying I don't speak to my godmother, the woman who actually raised me, but having someone that is outside of the family just listen.
Yeah.
We all need that person that's just going to listen. Whether they judge you or not, who cares?
Mhm.
You can stop going to them whenever you feel like it. That's your choice. But we've got to a point to where it's only getting worse. We don't want to speak about how we're feeling. We don't want to be open about it. You're angry? Okay, that seems like the only emotion that a black man can really show, and not all of them, but majority of them, and that just turns into violence, and then we're just killing each other.
Right.
How does that make it the situation right? Because now somebody just lost their life and now you're sitting in prison. And I can sit here and talk about prison because I've been there. That's not somewhere anybody wants to be. Caged up like an animal, having somebody wake you up at 5 o'clock in the morning to eat, wake you up at 2:30 in the morning for count, wake you up, tell you when to go to sleep, tell you when you want to go to the bathroom. That's not a life. So being able to speak about how you're feeling is strength, not weakness.
Yeah.
And that is the reason why Entangled Desires is a great book to read, because it's not just about the relationship, the drama. You can actually dive into the complexities of relationships and human beings, as well as the children's book. It opens up a conversation about interracial couples. My Something I've been working on, my recent development, is a poetry book. Um, it's about things that people don't want to talk about,
Mm.
whether it be how their life was when they were younger, whether it be mental, physical, emotional abuse, or sexual abuse, whether it be prison, whether it be whatever you're feeling. That is the reason why I opened this conversation with these poems, because there's a lot of people out here who just don't want to speak about it. And it also comes back to the fact that we are so wrapped up with our phones and TVs and social media and being on it 24/7
Yeah.
that mental health comes into play. And most people don't see or want to see the cry out for help.
Mhm.
I've lost two people within the last 8 years to suicide, and it might even be a third one. That's a conversation that I struggle with every day. Um, but the next novel that I am releasing, which will be for Black History Month, is called Inside Out or Outside In, and that dives into the mental health and mental health awareness of men, especially Black men in the Black community.
Wow. Wow. I am just so grateful for you, Tyree, and the message that you are bringing out to the world, and that you are taking what you've learned through difficult situations from birth to on up, and turning that around and using it for good. And I hope friends and family around the world, as you guys are watching this live today, I hope that you're really connecting with what Tyree is saying. In whatever country that you're in, whatever place and space that you are in, I hope that you guys would reach out to Tyree on his social media feeds and get connected and stay connected to him, because obviously you guys can see as well as I can the the journey that he is on to bring these messages to the world, is going to is going to make such a huge impact, and would love for you guys all to stay connected to him. And if you're watching the replay, go and find Tyree, and we'll say that again at the end where you guys can find him. But these are much needed conversations to have, and I just applaud you for stepping up and saying, I'll have these conversations. I'll have them. I'll put them out there because they need to be said. And first of all, I want to say thank you to for being vulnerable and sharing to the world. Yes, I am going to therapy. Yes, I do have mentors. Yes, I do have people in my corner that I can go to, because it is a thing with guys that we don't want to talk about our feelings. We don't want to go to anybody. We don't want to feel like we need to go and do that because we don't want to admit that we got something going on that we can't handle. Whereas as soon as we have those thoughts and feelings, that should be the indication to say, you know what, I should chat with somebody about this and not just hold it in. Because I, like you, have lost friends to suicide. I just lost somebody, a friend of mine, 2 weeks ago, a couple years older than me.
Sorry to
And
hear that.
thank you. And it's like this happens every day, whether it's citizens like us. You've got the military. There, wherever this is showing up in your world, please, please, please reach out and get help, and know that you're not alone in this journey. That you've got people here that can support you in your journey. I love the title of your book, Tyree, the new one coming out, Inside Out and Outside In. Can you expand on that just a little bit, because I really want the listeners to um, kind of get a bird's eye view of what this book is about, because I think it's going to be something that is going to blow up.
Inside Out and Outside In deals with the complexities of how we look on the outside, but really feeling on the inside, and vice versa. I can come to you today, well taken care of. I look great on the outside, but you never know what somebody is going through on the inside. You don't know what they're dealing with, their home life. You don't know what they're dealing with their job. And some people just don't know where to go to look for that help,
Mhm.
or to talk about what's going on. And it goes back to what we just said about men not being willing to have that vulnerability and talk about what they're going through. Just because I look good on the outside, that doesn't mean I'm not dealing with my own inner demons and attempting to figure and navigate through them. And that's what this book shows, and this book dives into, because that is just a conversation we don't want to have. I
Mhm.
can sit here and be a millionaire tomorrow. That doesn't mean my issues go away. Or
Yeah.
I can be the happiest person on the inside, and on the outside, I can be homeless.
Mhm.
I worked in 42nd in the Starbucks in 42nd Street and 8th, right next to the AMC movie theater and the Regal movie theater, back in 2000 and maybe 8, 2009. And this was right after I was homeless for 2.5 years.
Mm.
And I met a guy who used to come in all the time, and homeless. We used to talk everything. And he was one of those guys that very humble. And I asked him, I said, "What do you need tonight?" He was like, "Oh, just a coffee." He went to pay for it. I told him, "No, it's on me. It's on the house." And he was like, "I can pay for it." And he pulled out a lot of money. But I've always seen him throughout the overnight shifts just sitting in the movie theater upstairs, or sitting in the cafe. And I knew he was homeless, but I also knew he had money. One day I found the courage to ask him, "Hey, why are you homeless? And if you don't want to tell me, by all means, you don't have to." He said, "Being homeless was a choice." He
Mm.
said, "I used to be very wealthy in the financial industry, but I realized that all that money that I had, it didn't make me happy." He said, "I'm happier more being able to travel, go where I want to. I don't have any extra bills to take care of. I was fortunate enough to not have kids, so I don't have to worry about anybody else besides myself. My mother's gone, my father's gone, so it's just me, and I want to be able to be happy with who I am on the inside." And I didn't understand what he was saying until years later, and it
Mm.
happened to be maybe 2 years ago. I didn't really understand what he was saying, and that's how long it took. You're talking almost 15 years later to understand what he meant about being happy, and he was happy with the way he was living. And he said, "Hey, if I need to shower, guess what? There's shelters for me to shower if I really need to.
Mhm.
But I like being able to be free."
Wow. Wow. That's an amazing story. Yeah. What does it take for us to be happy?
I'm still looking. I'm happy, but I'm not as happy as I want to be. And I know it's not money.
Yeah.
I can have all the money in the world. That's still not going to find me what I want to do and what I want to bring to the world and to my community and to all communities, to be honest, because that's what makes me happy.
Hmm.
Being able to give back to the ones that really need the help, especially to the younger generation who might be going through what I've gone through or know somebody who is, but are too afraid to actually speak up about what's going on. It took me 34 years to be able to actually speak up about what was going on in my past.
Yeah.
And I'm 36 years old now.
Hmm.
So I understand how they feel, and I understand how people who are older than me feel. I understand who people who are my age feel about. There's always something that they're holding in and they're afraid to talk about. And that's where a lot of the anger comes into play.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? That's a great point, Tyree, because I think when we just do life just to do it and we don't ever really face some of these things that we kind of push down and don't address and don't deal with, like you're saying, it could be years or decades that we're carrying these conscious and subconscious feelings and thoughts, and until we get to that day of which we address it and release the negative part of it and come to this a level of understanding and acceptance of who I am in this situation of what happened or what I went through, can I really truly be happy?
Right. And that, if anybody was answering that question, no. How can you be truly happy if you're still living a lie in certain aspects of your life? And
Yeah.
that's another reason why I'm not truly happy. There's a lot of things that I'm still struggling to confront.
Mhm.
I've been able to speak to them openly now, but it's not just speak to be able to speak to everybody. It's a select few people that know some of the things that I've gone through. Because as a man, those are topics that if you tell another man, they might think or judge you for allowing it to happen. And you sometimes just can't control a situation.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
still finding my peace.
Yeah. And I think there's a certain aspect of, if I share this, I don't want to seem weak, because I, as a guy, am supposed to be that hunter, protector, masculinity, and all of that goes into why I don't share, because I don't want to be vulnerable and feel and address that. And I can tell you, Tyree, myself, I have put off dealing with things because I didn't want to feel weak. And it wasn't until I began down this path, for myself, and began that healing journey for me, um, that I was able to really dig into things, and a lot of things that I didn't realize were problems or issues or things that I needed to deal with. And they surfaced, and I said, wow, where did that come from? Why is that there? Okay, I guess all right, I can check this out and deal with it and figure out if it's here to serve me or not, and be able to go through that healing process in areas that I wasn't aware that I needed to. And I think that's a place that we want to get to, is in our healing journeys, is once we start, that's when we just open up and allow ourselves to be vulnerable and allow ourselves to address some of these things. um, will we then get to that place of healing?
Agreed. You know, my wife told me, had to be about 6 months ago. She said, "For men, you're so emotional nowadays." And I said, "Well, if I wouldn't be on this journey if it wasn't for you." And she
Mm,
started laughing, and I was just like, "You got to take the good with the bad. Sometimes I'm emotional, and that's because you allowed me to be emotional. You allowed me to be free and speak about some everything or anything that I've gone through, and you've just been here."
mm, yeah, she sounds like an amazing woman that was able to create that space for you to express that. And yeah, you are a lucky person to have someone in your life that creates that safety for you to do that.
You know,
That's
it's a struggle. It
Yeah.
is, it's a struggle because I know she's dealing with her own things. So that way I have to be able to reciprocate it. And
Mhm.
sometimes we don't see eye to eye, but that's back to the first thing we spoke about. I'm not going to leave because we don't see eye to eye. You said something earlier about how the society needs to come together more. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. Everybody's entitled to their choice. That is the reason why we live in the United States of America, because we have the choice.
Mhm.
If we want to go left, we can go left. If we want to go right, we can go right. But that is our choice. And
Yeah.
if you don't agree with it, it is okay to speak your opinion on not agreeing with it. But that
Mhm.
does not mean to treat that person completely different because they decided not to go with the choice you would have gone.
Right.
The same thing now when it comes to, and I never talk politics, so I'm not going into it deeper. Trump versus Kamala.
Yeah.
Just because somebody likes Kamala, that doesn't give you the right to disrespect them.
Mhm.
Just because someone likes Trump doesn't give you the right to disrespect them. It doesn't. Me personally, I don't like either one of them. But what can we do? One of them's going to win,
Yeah.
so we have to deal with it. But
Right.
that doesn't give me the right to disrespect you because you like one of the candidates.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody has that choice.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's so powerful. And I think we've, unfortunately have lost sight of that fact. It seems these days is that, yeah, it's okay to disagree with someone, and not get into, and bring the hate and whatnot into the equation, because that doesn't serve anybody, um, and is what's really hurting us as a nation right now. Yeah. So I know you said earlier that you have a book, a poetry book coming out, and really talking about things that we don't want to talk about, but that you're addressing in your poetry book. Could you kind of dive in a little bit more with that?
Yeah, not a problem. So the name of the poetry book is going to be Whispers from an Absent Heart. And it dives into a lot of the things that I've gone through. I have one pulled up if you don't mind me sharing.
Oh, we'd love that. Thank you.
It's called Injustice. 18 months I spent for a crime not mine. Half of something I never crossed the line. Florida's state correction walls held me tight, but it wasn't just bars, it was a system's bite. 5 white officers, no mercy in their hands, beat me down, made their cruel demands. They lied through their teeth, said I struck them first. But the truth was clear, they were at their worst. No evidence in pictures, no proof to see. They threatened my son. They said they'd let him free. Free into the system, a fate worse than mine. So I took the plea to save him from their line. My life dangled before a gun, no hope to spare. They swapped my lawyer, left me in despair. I fell through the cracks, unseen and unheard. They hid what mattered, not a single word. But I fought back, learned the law, found my way, filed the papers, did all I could in the fray. Yet the DA sneered, told my lawyer bold, we won't follow the law, let his story grow cold. They threatened me with 27 and more for standing up, for daring to roar. This system, it's rigged, it's built to oppress. For Black lives like mine, it's always a test. I've seen innocence stripped, lives bought and sold. Not a second thought, just a collar to hold. It's never been fair, not since we've been here. They profit off our pain, they thrive off our fear. I fight for justice, though the road is steep, for every brother and sister they put to sleep. Our freedom's not given, it's fought for each day, because in this world, there's a price we pay. The injustice for us is as real as it gets. For lives taken down, they never regret. But I stand, I rise through the darkness and pain, for our truth will shine, will break every chain. They may think they've won, may think we'll bow, but we're stronger than ever, and we'll show them how. For every injustice, we'll make our stand, united together, reclaiming this land.
Wow.
In my life, I've never been innocent. Even in this instance, I wasn't completely innocent, but I didn't deserve what I got in return. And I didn't deserve the DA threatening to take my son. And that was one of the hardest things I could have ever done. Eventually, I got a paid lawyer, and the lawyer said we could beat the charges. But that's when they threatened to take my son and put him in, get child protective services involved. And this just one small instance of what we deal with today. An innocent man 3 weeks ago died even after the DNA results came
Yeah.
and said that he wasn't the one that was involved.
Yeah.
So what are we to do if the government is not for us and we're not for ourselves? Because if we were for ourselves, we wouldn't be killing each other. What are we to do?
Yeah. Wow. Tyree, that is an amazing poem and real story, raw, of this experience. And I'm so sorry that this has happened to you and what you have gone through in this. And I guess I'm trying to come up with some words here, and I'm really speechless at the moment. And all I know that I'm feeling right now is that you have this voice and opportunity to share this through your book and through platforms like this to get out to the world. And I hope everybody around the world watching this tonight really takes this to heart, because wherever you are, you know that there are social injustices going on. There are things happening around where you live. And when you have a person like Tyree that is stepping up and saying, I'm sharing this, I hope that that gives you some hope that you can take it upon yourself to share and support and be like Tyree and let your voice be heard and be bold in that choice to step up. And I just thank you so much, Tyree, for sharing that. That was that is just absolutely amazing. As we're wrapping up here, Tyree, is there any last message you want to send out to all the viewers watching this?
Even if you don't want to purchase my first published novel, you can always reach out to me on my Instagram. 90% of the time, I don't sleep. It's officially Tyree on Instagram, or on Facebook, it's going to be Tyree Whitworth. And if you can't find me there, you can reach out to me on TyreeWrites.com. I'm here to talk. I'm here to listen. If you need some guidance on some things, by all means, I'm here. If I don't have the answers, I'll help you find out somebody that has the answers, or I'll do the research myself. I like to learn. That's why I like to read, and that's why I like to write, because I'm willing to learn.
Yeah. And if it's okay, Tyree, I'd like to add to that. Listen, obviously, hearing Tyree's story tonight, this is amazing what he has to share. I would encourage you to reach out to Tyree, to have him come and talk to your youth, your community groups, anything that Tyree can do to help support the young people in United States or globally, because this message has got to get out. And I just thank you so much, Tyree, for being here with me tonight. This was an absolute gift, and I thank you for that. Friends and family around the
opportunity.
Yeah, friends and family around the world, thank you guys so much for joining us here tonight on the Energetic Life Now show. You guys know where to find me on all the social handles, Energetic Life Now. Come join my private Facebook group at the Empowered Family Network. It's a great place to hear and explore all things family related, the Empowered Family Network. Just want to thank you guys again so much for being here. From our family to yours, we send you love, peace, and prosperity. Our show can also be heard on the Spanglish Radio Network. Please check it out at spanglishworld.ca for all the news and programming. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, live it. Thanks for being here. We'll see you soon.